Hey guys, Sundown here. This is going to be my chapter review to One Punch Man 93. I was going to say One Piece. One Punch Man 93, here we go. Once again, an awesome chapter, which I'll break down into kind of, hopefully, into the most important parts, but it was kind of difficult once again with One Punch Man to really break it down into just key parts, because I also want to discuss what they've been talking about and little key things that they mentioned all the way through. So honorary mention, just before we even start the actual bulk of the chapter, Tatsumaki on this cover page was a good way to start this chapter. That's all I'm going to say about it. A really good way to start this chapter. So the first thing we see is the S-Class meeting, and that's really the bulk of this chapter. I think it lasts about 48-50 pages, and it takes us through the majority of the chapter, and a lot of the things that we need to know occur within this setting. So, essentially, through Child Emperor and the SS Walls Have Ears, which is the satellite which Child Emperor has in orbit, which is a thermographic satellite, and they've used it on the Monster Association, trying to see how many individuals there are over there. Through the Child Emperor and this satellite, the S-Class heroes are now very aware of the general number of monsters they'll be facing. Around 500 monsters, 62.5 each, because there's 8 heroes at the moment. Later on in the chapter that changes a bit. So they're also aware, the heroes, that there will most likely be several monsters at the level of Dragon in terms of disaster level or higher. Dragon is usually, I think, where we're going to end this conversation, but there may even be some Kami level ones. I think is the next one. It is God level next, I think. So I think... they're definitely aware that there will maybe more than one dragon level monster, especially considering Elder Centipede. Elder Centipede was subservient to their cause, the Monster Association's cause. So I loved how Murata showed all the S-Class heroes in this meeting. You know, he pans out from Pig God initially until they're all on screen and they kind of just sat down this table. It was almost like I think the first time we saw all the Espada sitting on that long table with Aizen. Kind of the same vibe. So, on a side note, we learned that Puri Puri Prisoner may have developed more masochistic tendencies, which is a worrying suggestion for any of his previous inmates if we're to go by the information in this chapter. So the heroes continue talking, and they learn about Drive Knight having gone missing from Child Emperor, with each of them reacting in different ways depending on their character and what we know of their character. So you have Atomic Samurai reacting in a very pensive way. He's not really over-exaggerating his emotional response, but he recognizes the possible fall of a hero, of a comrade, and he's kind of saddened a little bit by that, but he's more pensive and just wondering like he didn't even know Drive Knight. We have Super Alloy Darkshine, who responds with positivity, suggesting Drive Knight may have just malfunctioned a bit, may have lost a couple circuits here and there, and he may have just had a small mishap, and he's completely fine. Pig God looks a lot like, he looks. He responds a lot like he looks. He cares very little, in his eyes at least, but he still hopes for the best. It's that typical sloth figure. He hopes for the best, but he's not going to do much about it. Zombie Man focuses on how this could affect the surviving heroes, and the fact that, Drive Knight got taken out, the other heroes need to be very aware of the fight to come. And Tatsumaki just tries to start a fight with everyone. She's just there shit stirring, like, oh, this doesn't really affect me, and they're just like ignoring her, kind of. So Flashy Flash then tells them that they needn't worry about he doesn't really say they needn't worry about the monsters. He just says they need to be merciless towards the monsters, and really, even if the monsters beg for mercy, they need to just slaughter them. I got something in my eye. So this feels like it might leave room for error in terms of Flashy Flash's suggestion, possibly killing individuals who they mistake as monsters, especially if Tatsumaki's fighting there, all that rock will kind of blow up into smoke and really block their vision, so maybe they might accidentally be knocking out humans as well. But it's something Flashy Flash may actually be willing to sacrifice for the mission. So it's here that we learn that Puri Puri Prisoner still wants to save the inmates who underwent monsterification, the same inmates who want to kill him for the horrors he showed them in prison. Atomic Samurai thinks that Puri Puri Prisoner, he has some sort of viable solution for monsterification, but he quickly identifies and silences himself once Puri Puri Prisoner tells him that he's gonna just hug and deep kiss them or something along those lines. And he's, Puri Puri Prisoner is just asking for a royal beating right now, and I can't wait for him to try his technique on these inmates and then for them to kick the shit out of him. But he is an S-Class hero, so he might actually just kick the shit out of the inmates in turn. So as Zombie Man and Flash kind of discuss Orochi and Gyorogiro, Tatsumaki tells them all to leave the boss to her and that they should clear the way for her. You know, just kind of like essentially traffic wardens for Tatsumaki. Firstly, Murata went out of his way to make Tatsumaki look really hot this chapter. Applause are due there. Second though, Tatsumaki is a real bitch this chapter, like a complete bitch, with no idea how to lead a band of headstrong, testosterone-fueled men, especially because a lot of the S-Class heroes seem to be men. I think the majority of them are men apart from Tatsumaki. So she could have easily worded her suggestions and her ideas better, and they would have followed her possibly. However, she had to slight them by telling them they were all weak, which is obviously something that these guys aren't going to take. Obviously, Flash has enough of her shit and tells her not to overstep her boundaries, whilst also asking someone to please shut her up, you know. Which is fair, Flashy. You know, Tatsumaki does have a big mouth. So this results in Tatsumaki then assuming her chibi form for almost the rest of the chapter, and just roasting everyone while they ignore her for basically the rest of the chapter. And that, speaking of everyone, it's mostly a lot of her kind of words are aimed at a Mai Mask who pops up. So Zombie Man reminds Tatsumaki that this is indeed a rescue mission, so she needs to remember not to bring the house down. You know, they don't want to kill the Waganma kid. So we then learn that Child Emperor has effectively mapped out almost all of the Monster Association, but is still kind of unsure of where Orochi will be. While Flashy Flash kind of continues to savage Tatsumaki verbally, Child Emperor intervenes and demands they stop. You know, he's really trying to coordinate these guys. And they're just being kids, basically big ass kids, really powerful kids. So what this brings up for me was the tension within the S-Class heroes, not because of the enormity of the task, but because they're all so powerful, they don't get along with each other, especially in Tatsumaki's case, especially because Tatsumaki is out here shitting on everyone. So I really enjoyed this part of the chapter that just came after this, after kind of Child Emperor intervenes. Between the argument of Flashy Flash and Tatsumaki, we get a Mai Mask popping up during the S-Class meeting, and being an A-Class hero, he was already designated to be part of the duty, kind of cleanup duty and support, while the S-Classes do all the heavy lifting down underground. However, Mai Mask knew nothing of this because Child Emperor deemed that it would be best to tell the A-Class heroes and all the support heroes that they would be what their job would be at the event or outside the Monster Association, or maybe just the Mai Mask in particular, because they knew how difficult he would be. And once he finds out that he was going to be on this support duty, what follows is hilarious. We begin with Tatsumaki savaging a Mai Mask, telling him that he wasn't informed because everyone hates him or something like that. Or I think it's something like she says no one likes you or something like that. However, after hearing Pig God and Super Alloy talking about food and Atomic Samurai telling him he's going to take his pupils with him into the Monster Association, a Mai Mask kind of seems convinced that the S-Class are too stupid, fickle, and arrogant. So he's adamant that he too should be part of the invasion, but Tatsumaki continues to kind of savage Mai Mask, but he ignores her and pretends she doesn't exist. Kind of the best response against the headstrong attention seeker like Tatsumaki. However, then we come to a Mai Mask, kind of what his vision is for after having found out that he's not part of the S-Class invasion. He makes a bold statement, and he believes, because Child Emperor compliments him on his leadership qualities, he believes due to these leadership qualities that he should lead the S-Class heroes into the Monster Association as kind of like the central point, the leader of the S-Class heroes. Now obviously this rubs the S-Class heroes the wrong way. Zombie Man starts by kind of berating a Mai Mask. He's like, no, who do you think you are, kid, and all this kind of stuff. And then he kind of sweetens up a bit and tells a Mai Mask that this is war and there's no time for infighting, there's no time to really change the plan, this is how it is. At which point a Mai Mask kind of just brings up, in a very childish and kind of very snide way and a very spiteful way, he brings up Zombie Man's immortality, obviously some sort of sore point, an unspoken thing within the S-Class at least. And he questions how Zombie Man got this immortality in the first place. He even goes so far as to ask Zombie Man whether he's a monster and whether he can be trusted, something which Super Alloy kind of stops from going any further. He just says, oh bro, that's a little too far. But I like this part because My Mask calls out the S-Class heroes on their laziness, their tendency to rest on their laurels because they've got sponsors and the like. You know, they're getting money from elsewhere. They don't really need to put in the grind that all the lower class heroes need to put in. So while Lele's about you have the lower classes actually putting in work, but because the S-Class are powerful, they can afford to not do anything, which is what annoys the My Mask. So My Mask even asks them if they're aware of the responsibilities the responsibilities they should be shouldering as S-Class heroes. So My Mask says it again. He should lead the S-Class in this endeavor. Now here we see Puri Prisoner getting worked up, only for him to make a joke about submitting himself to the pretty boy. You know, like I said before, masochistic tendencies. I was just like, "Who? Yeah, you need to calm down." So this is one of my favorite parts of the chapter. This part that comes after a My Mask kind of slights everyone. Flash tells a My Mask that if he wanted to lead him, himself in particular, he would have to force him to obey. A My Mask would have to force Flash to obey. Now this obviously gets a My Mask riled up. The vessels in his neck bulging while he gives Flash like the crazy eyes, the craziest crazy eyes you've ever crazied in your life. And Flash starts dishing out some major killing intent with even Atomic Samurai's there like, bruh, you need to put away your killing intent, put it back in your trousers, stuff like that. And I was like, yo, this is getting real serious. And Flash refuses, saying it depends on a My Mask's behavior and whether he's going to continue to hinder the plan. Before the situation escalates, King arrives and is heralded as he enters the room. A My Mask instantly interrogates him on why he looks so messy, why he's so late. And to be fair to King, like really being fair to King, he was about to tell everyone about the hot pot incident, about how he just got knocked out and then all the juices and stuff flew all over his shirt, only for his escorts to start spewing some nonsense, major bullshit about how King fought an entire night's worth of like waves of monsters in Z City. And they talk about King's bloodstains and such, and how he didn't even rest until they found him, and he was resting when they found him, which somehow gets King a complete look of admiration from a My Mask. And, you know, a look of complete admiration is the way it should have been from a My Mask. And we know a My Mask's type of character. You know, he loves true heroes, hard workers who try their best for the people with no selfish gain in return. But he's also kind of a hypocrite, you know, using his hero status and his position as an idol in conjunction with one another, allowing, you know, selfish gain on his part. But he still portrays kind of the hero qualities. He's just a bit of a madman because anything he deems as evil is instantly, you know, evil, and he's going to get rid of it. He's going to wipe it off the face of the earth. But in essence, a My Mask kind of shows the characteristics of a hero when he's being heroic, and he likes to see that in other people. So a My Mask sees King, and he's just like, yo, this guy is awesome. So My Mask, Flashy Flash, and Atomic Samurai all look towards King with this same admiration, whilst Tatsumaki looks at him with the Nala Doomy eyes from Lion King. And with this, My Mask seems to be okay with not leading the S-Class into the Monster Association, seeing as someone of King's character is with them, and he's kind of like the surrogate leader now, and he, like I said, he seems to be the unspoken leader. Flashy Flash breathes a sigh of relief, seemingly glad that he didn't have to kill a My Mask, or maybe glad that he didn't have to fight him. Talking strictly power levels and rumors, and because a lot of you guys seem to know a lot more than the manga's told us. I'm not sure where you get this from. Maybe the webcomic, maybe there's a One Punch Man encyclopedia or something like that. I don't know. But a My Mask is meant to be pretty damn strong, and I think he may have given Flash a run for his money, especially when he showed those crazy eyes. I was like, yo, shit, a My Mask might actually be pretty damn strong. And we've only seen him fight people once before. I don't even remember because I haven't reread One Punch Man because the chapters are so split apart and so choppy. But I really need to reread it and see how strong a My Mask is, because it looks like he would have given Flashy Flash a run for his money. So I love the part where King is kind of semi-chastised by Child Emperor for fighting alone, and when the Emperor suggests they should work together, he just says yes. And but the inflammation box that comes out killed me. It said King in an energetic tone, but his eyes were those of a dead man. King is too much. I was just like, this guy, you could see in his eyes, they're just pale and glossed over, and he's like, yes. So funny. So we then see a conversation between Sekingal and Shichi. Sekingal tells Shichi that he will be heading out into the field Something which Shichi respects, line like, "Oh, I thought you were a cold careerist, only for Second Gal to confirm that he is indeed a cold careerist, just looking for opportunities to climb the ladder, and this seems to be the biggest opportunity at the moment. But with Second Gal just wanting his name to go down in history, there's a chance he might flip-flop and do some major damage by defecting to the Monster Association. Then the whole plan goes to shit. The Monster Association knows what's coming, and Second Gal possibly undergoes monsterification. He already looks a bit weird with that kind of mechanical eye, so he seems like the type of guy who would flip flop. So here with Second Gal, we actually see all the other class heroes who are responsible for support. According to Second Gal, many of the heroes gathered are expected to one day climb to S-Class, something which he tells Shichi to kind of dampen the blow of him agreeing to the heroes escalating in rank due to this job, and prior to actually doing the job, which is a corrupt notion in and of itself. I was like, they're gonna escalate in rank, like do that after they complete the job based off of their accomplishments. Don't promise them like an escalation just because they agreed to do the damn job. So we actually see like there's this gear spur, something like that. I think he might be some sort of ESP user, but he uses it mechanically. So something that he wasn't actually born with, not a talent, something he's worked in terms of machinery to get. Through technology. We see this Olympic long jump looking lady. I forgot what her name is. She looks like she might be like some sort of what's it called, the pole vault or a long jumper or something like that. She's got that same type of build, maybe even a swimmer, but she's too defined and her legs are too damn thick. So she was pretty cool as well. She's just wearing gold medals, I think. She wouldn't be showing her bronze medals, I don't think so. While Second Gal kind of hypes up these young heroes, Shichi is told that Bang has arrived at the Hero Association. So Bang asks for a new intercom while Shichi kind of really sweats it out, worried that he'll drop some sort of hint about the mission, which Bang and Genos have been excluded from, and obviously Bomb, but Bomb's not a hero. So Shichi asks why Bang let Garo go, something which Bang takes slight offense to, and Shichi kind of then apologizes, but Bomb shares his sentiment that his brother was going easy on his former pupil, only for us to get this kind of foreboding comment by Bang, who says he wasn't going easy in the slightest. So it really shows the power of Garo if someone like Bang wasn't even going easy and he managed to survive, even though he was saved by Phoenix Man. So King then walks in. he walks into the room as Shichi walks out, trying to hide from the rest of the S-Class heroes and trying to make a great escape. However, Bang and Bomb just look at him, and they walk into their room, and he's just like, Bang's like, "Yo, what are you up to, bro?" And King accidentally spills the beans on the S-Class mission, or the S-Class summons, which Bang and Genos obviously were excluded from. And I loved how we see Child Emperor just wondering where King is. He was told he was going to go to the toilet, while Zombie Man tells him that, his King engine was a roar, or something like that. Like his King engine was like really roaring. So he's probably focusing himself and preparing for the massacre ahead. And I was like, the amount of bullshit the surrounding King is just hilarious. And in reality, King was shitting himself and his heart was just beating incredibly frantically, which is what they were hearing. So Bang and Bomb are then filled in on the fact that the Hero Association has lost trust in Bang and Genos, but they also fill themselves in on the whole Waganma situation, Waganma's kid, and how the Monster Association kidnapped him. King then comes up with the most daring solution to this current crisis, or should I say to his current crisis, which is attacking the Monster Association alone through a designated and separate route. That's his kind of crisis at this moment in time. And his solution is recruit Bang, Bomb, Genos and Saitama and storm the Monster Stronghold through his designated route. Now it's a hilarious move when you consider that it was done solely for the sole purpose of self-preservation, but the story will definitely be more interesting this way. So Bang agrees to this, deeming Garo still his responsibility, and he agrees to joining King on his mission to storm the Monster Association, meeting him at Saitama's place when the order comes through. This obviously calms King's nerves, and when he returns to the S-Class heroes, I really laughed my ass off when Atomic Samurai notes that the King engine has been silenced. He's sharpened his mind like an ice cold blade or something like that, showing that he's kind of steeled himself ready for war. And the assumptions made because of the misunderstandings surrounding King, once again, they're just hilarious, because they just see this leading figure and they're like, this is a guy, this is the man, this is the All Might of freaking One Punch Man. But in reality, he's the weakest guy. He's really like No Might, the non one for all. form of All Might. He's a lot more like that. So we then get an awesome double spread as the heroes kind of march forward, bringing a start to this war on the Monster Association. Meanwhile, Fubuki wanders alone in Z City, just seemingly walking towards Saitama's apartment for God knows what reason. And she's slowly clocking on to why her summons for the battle against the Monster Association has been revoked. Guessing rightly, she feels Tatsumaki had something to do with it, and obviously it's to preserve her sister's life. Obviously, Fubuki just wants her sister to acknowledge her for her power and respect her once again for her abilities. Something Tatsumaki is too powerful to really ever do. However, Fubuki doesn't want revenge just for this shame she suffered in front of her sister. She also wants revenge for the Fubuki group, which was annihilated during the monster invasion. So we then see an upgraded Genos also just kind of roaming around Z City, but he actually lives there, and he's been upgraded. He's got blackened arms, like this blackened steel or whatever it is, and it looks awesome because his arms are completely jagged. He looks almost very, very reminiscent actually of Elder Centipede's plating, and he looks awesome, very, very awesome. And I was like, yo, he looks banging. So it turns out this time around, Dr. Kuseno has given Genos an all-offense loadout, suggesting his defense may not be so great and may be on par with his usual defensive capabilities, but basically his offense far outweighs his defensive capabilities, so he's not an even fighter anymore. The drawback with this kind of loadout is that Genos will have to carefully regulate his power. If he goes all out, his components will start to break, meaning that this kind of going all out will have to be a last resort for Genos. And if he is forced into such a situation, he's only allowed to go full throttle, like full time, for 10 seconds. Otherwise, he will truly die, like completely die, even if he's a cyborg. So Genos' whole character is about pushing forward, breaking through his ceiling, and just bursting ever forward, you know. So he's definitely going to go all out at some point, maybe even approaching that 10-second limit and thinking he's about to die like he did against that mosquito girl before Saitama one punches his enemy into the void or something like that. So it's definitely fully going to happen at some point. Everyone's kind of already betting on it. So Genos and Fubuki then run into each other outside Saitama's apartment, with Fubuki telling Genos that he's being played by Saitama. You know, he doesn't own his flat in the Z City. He's just squatting because no one else happens to live in Z City. Saitama's the only one strong enough to do it. And he's living there free of charge while Genos is paying him for rent in a building that he doesn't even own. Genos obviously doesn't really pay this much attention. They walk into Saitama's apartment, only he's not there. Genos realizes that he must be patrolling or doing something because his hero suit isn't at home. So then Bang and Bomb walk in and tell Genos the whereabouts of the Monster Association lair, and I assume they're going to fill them in on the fact that they've been left out of the mission later on. Now, obviously, Genos wants to join them on their adventure, but chooses to wait for Saitama once King realizes that he can't actually wait for Saitama with the gang, because once the order is given for the S-Class heroes to jump into the Monster Association, the order's been given. It's a combined attack. They gotta do it at the same time. So Fubuki tries to make this kind of like a new Blizzard group thing, but everyone ignores her, which gave me a good chuckle because they just seem to really both Tatsumaki and Fubuki, because they're such headstrong kind of wannabe leader type characters, they're just completely ignored because of their complete lack of actual charisma. So Genos will wait for Saitama while the others kind of bum rush the Monster Association. Bang is happy with this, King less so, and King's reaction at the end of this chapter is priceless as he kind of realizes the predicament they'll be in if another monster on the level of Elder Centipede shows up, because Bang and Bomb, as strong as they are, can't really do anything. Fubuki can't really do anything, and he really wanted his man Saitama there because he can just one punch anyone. Meanwhile, Saitama has actually gone exploring underneath Z City, trying to find the source of the commotion a chapter ago. So he's entered the manhole and he's now looking around. So Saitama is the wild card in this chapter, and in the coming chapters he's going to be the wild card because he's completely disrupting the plan. He's in the sewers. He's probably going to find the monsters at some point, and he's just going to be wrecking people left, right, and center. And he's gonna eventually run into some of the dragon level monsters, maybe Orochi, maybe Gyoro, maybe even Overgrown Rover or something like that, or Evil Water or something like that. And he's just going to destroy everyone because he's just roaming around, and they're going to try and antagonize him. He's going to be like, get the hell out of my way. So Saitama's just going to be there ruining the story for everyone and ruining such a climactic moment. Or climatic? What's the word? Is it climactic? You know what I'm talking about. Climatic moment for everyone. So they're going to be like this really, really like focused war zone kind of mentality, and Saitama's just going to be strolling through the trenches. So it's going to be awesome to see, and I can't wait to see it. This has been a long ass review. I'm going to end it there. Let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review, even though it's been a long time coming. It's been about 2 days. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And my Hero Academia review possibly won't come out tomorrow because I'm going to Wales or something, to the beach, because, you know, good weather, gotta get that vitamin D in. So yeah, I'm possibly going to be at the beach. So maybe Monday, unless Nanatsu no Taizai comes out, in which case I'll do Nanatsu no Taizai on Monday, and then My Hero Academia following on the Tuesday, or maybe right after Nanatsu no Taizai on the Monday. So let me know what you guys thought, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.